Yo folks, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about Nikke Goddess of Victory. We'll be doing the CBT signups infos and not to mention how the game fell at 8x. Let's jump right into this. First things is the CBT signups, which you can go ahead and do by clicking this website right here. Now what's really nice is it actually started before July 15th. You can join the beta tests and you just fill out the infos that you need, which anime games you're playing, MMOs, this, that, and the third, iOS and Android devices. Make sure to select the appropriate device, because if you select a device that's not normally used and not a lot of people have it, then you might be able to get in a little bit easier. Obviously that's not true. That could just me being like 5-head or overthinking, but I think they want to get as many devices as possible in their CBT test so they can stress test the game appropriately on a bunch of different phones. And there is some interesting things because there is going to be a Q&A on how to sign up. If you have questions, participation rewards, and basic requirements. What is also really cool, they did a recent interview on how Nikke Goddess of Victory actually came to being. And if you actually look at it, they talked about the concept art and how the gameplay flowed. They were doing 3 different perspectives where there's like fighting, shooting, taking cover, etc. It took 3 times the work to get every angle, the portraits, the rear view, the frontal view, and making them all controllable and have them seamlessly go through the animations for the fight sequences. And what can players expect from the game? Besides the excellent TPS mechanics, which is the tactile feedback while you're shooting, of course there's going to be superb graphics, a unique art style, but most of all, there's going to be a world that you can actually get into. And what makes Nikke's enemies so special? There is, the stereotypical where you just aim, you shoot, but there are monster cores where are weak points or areas where you can deal more damage, which will make it so that manual play will be a lot better than doing the automatic play. And there is going to be aim assist systems, which I greatly appreciate because I'm not the best at shooting games. And there's even more infos when it comes down to what is a short introduction to the game. Of course, it's a beautiful girls and survival mechanics in the post-apocalyptic third-person shooter. We already know that, but what's so special about the core gameplay? There's actually going to be a 5-person mode where you can take down huge enemies and huge waves. There's 6 types of weapons, which I didn't know. That is really cool. And there's also 3 burst skills which are chosen and used strategically, which may enter in the full burst mode, which maximizes the potential damage output. And there's also going to be short range distances, attack distant enemies, shotguns which are more efficient in short range, and close quarter combat. I actually didn't think Nikke would get any close quarter combat considering how most of the enemy types are going to be far away, but now there's going to be more. And the multiplayer content, like we covered, 5-player co-op mode, it's going to be pretty exciting to see, especially if you can get a Discord call and just take down the enemies via that way. There's also going to be developer notes on the global CBT, which I find interesting. There is going to be combat improvements, so the sensitivity of aim is going to be changed. There's going to be greatly improved visibility for aiming at opponents. While I was at AX, it was a little bit difficult because when I was pointing my fingers on certain enemies, it was hard. My fingers would block them. It just wasn't that seamless on the giant iPad, even though it felt really good. They're going to be strengthening the close range combat, which I really appreciate because it gives more feedback towards all the different types of weapons you're going to be using. And then there's going to be Rapture, which will allow us to focus on skills, AI, and the environmental effects. Skills were another area that they've been improving upon, so character synergies. That's going to be nice because a lot of characters, just instead of being individuals, having a whole package and working together makes a lot of sense. And of course, quality of life improvements, where it makes it easier to touch and go around the map. I did have a situation where I was playing the game on the floor of AX and I was trying to move them with my fingers, and by tapping the screen, it didn't work. Since they're adding that feature where I can just tap one location and the waifus would work towards that direction or walk, that is cool because trying to drag them to the location, move them like a standard D-pad, didn't feel good on the game. So those little things will definitely go a long way. There's going to be other quality of life, future cooperative gameplay, skill cutscenes will be streamlined, which is really good. They're going to be doing quick guides. Quick guides, not so much. There's going going to have some emotes, but I think the biggest thing is the reorganization of their UIs and improvements such as the tutorial modes and performance optimization, making it smooth on the real-time shooting mechanics. Because a lot of times when it comes to shooting games, it not having that smooth gameplay can affect a lot of things. And they also appreciate the feedback on the simulation room and interception portion of the game. And they want to make Nikke Goddess of Victory the best possible game, so more CBTs will improve upon that. I don't think a lot of us knew that there was a lot of issues with the CBTs and how the gameplay sort of flowed, because we don't know how it felt. After getting into AX and reading these developer notes, it really just makes sense, because it didn't feel like an unfinished product, I would say, for Nikke Goddess of Victory, but I feel like the little nuances would get people annoyed, where your aiming was difficult, or moving was difficult, or just pulling off skills didn't feel substantial enough. So for them to go back and actually modify those things to make it a better product, I think it's going to be pretty good overall. And they're also going to be in San Diego for San Diego Comic-Con. I think Comic-Con's fairly difficult to get into, but the fact that Nikke Goddess of Victory is going to be in one of the biggest cons, that's going to be cool. I'll be in SDCC, but I won't be inside the con because, tickets are impossible. Make sure to say hi and, post pics if you get into the SDCCs. And looking over the websites, they did add a couple of things. There's going to be giveaways for the CBTs, so you can get an acrylic stand and iPhones. During AX, I could follow them, retweet them, and also post a comment on their profiles, and you would get like a free poster, a free keychain, and then you could also get like a t-shirt as well, or a scroll. And it was so many cool little things like that that made Nikke Goddess of Victory stand out in AX to me. And they also have this new trailer right here showcasing some of the waifus that are going to be added. The one things that I have to say about Nikke Goddess of Victory that really interested me the most is how they're really focusing on the quality of the game versus just releasing it. Because I feel like a lot of folks just seeing the gameplay and the waifus, you could easily release the game as is and do slow improvements over time, and people would be okay with that. But the fact that they're taking actual feedback appropriately, sort of like the way Genshin Impact did it, that is really good. Now, the only difference between Genshin Impact and Nikke Goddess of Victory is Genshin Impact's marketing team and their reach is crazy. Not to mention they have both husbando and waifu art, and Nikke Goddess of Victory only has waifus, which is good, but having that equilibrium where you can hit more audiences is obviously better. But we all know what we're here. Shift Up is also really great about creating some of the best art in the industry, because they did have Destiny's Child on their plate as well, which was really good. Overall, I'm excited for this game, and I'm happy to see that the developers are actually taking it seriously to make sure that we have a quality product. And if I have to say anything about the AX setup, I wish there was at least one dev there that could answer some questions on the gameplay mechanics. Most of the people there, they were just PR people. They were mostly just promoting the game. They had some experience with the game, but most of it had to deal with more giveaways and how you can participate in future things and celebrate Nikke Goddess of Victory. I just wanted to talk about more of the gameplay and how the concept art went, but a lot of the developer notes pretty much answered my questions. How long did it take to do the animations? Where did the concept come from? Overall, I'm super excited for Nikke Goddess of Victory. There's a huge sway of information that's now available to us. Why it's taking so long? Just because they're actually taking player feedback into account, and that we can make this a better game based off of the community and how we handle it. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram if you want to see my face and get daily updates on a few things. I'm away. I'm currently trying to support a wedding, so I'm not getting married. Someone else is, but that's why the video output's a little bit slow. Hopefully you guys understand. I'll be on Insta, like I said, if you want to see it. And see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much.